Welcome to Quick Takes with Kevin, a weekly podcast about leadership, life, and ministry with Kevin Ezel, president of the North American Mission Board. Each week, Kevin will be focusing on how pastors can keep their souls healthy in the midst of the demands and challenges of everyday life. Now, here's your host, Kevin Ezel.
Hey, pastors, Kevin Ezel, and thank you for joining us for Quick Takes today. I have a really good friend of mine, Tim Dowdy, pastor of Eagles Landing Church in McDonough, Georgia, and also over pastoral health, the Georgia Baptist Convention. And Tim, thanks so much for joining us today. We're doing the online here because of still some virus concerns.
Oh, yeah. Well, Kevin, it's great to be with you. I love you and your family, and so thankful for all that you're doing at the North American Mission Board, and just thankful for your friendship and encouragement through the years, too. It's been a blessing. So it's great to be here and be a part of this.
Well, man, you're such a model in so many things we want to talk about, especially in chapter 34 of Lance Witt's book, Replenish, the Gift of Loitering. You know, the title of it kind of throws you off, but you know, you've been one. I know you're very faithful, working out and taking care of yourself. You do. What was it? Ironman competition you were in?
Yes.
And you've always been one to take some time to self. To keep things in perspective. And it's really what the chapter is about is learning to linger, if you will. And that's not being lazy, that's being intentional to make sure you make the most of time. So what do you think, how do you do with this? From the outside, it looks like you do well with this. And what is the best way to go about and be intentional of loitering, if you will, or lingering?
I'd say some days I do pretty good and some days I stink at it, probably like most people. I think one thing is you just can't forget that you need this. This is healthy. Most of us, if we just pushed a default button, it would be the fast and shallow button, because that's how we run. We got, if you're driven, you got a lot going on, there's a lot of demands. And so you just kind of want to touch everything and get it all moving in the right direction and move on. And so that kind of life, though, doesn't ever give you anything that has real rich meaning in it, whether it's a relationship or even a conversation or your relationship with God or any other thing in your life. And so, it's a difficult thing to do, but you have to intentionally make time to do it.
So when you say intentionally, though, like it's really about making moments. There's a book I recently was reading about the importance of making moments, and I know your dad was an incredible influence on you. I had the privilege of being at the funeral and hearing you tell different stories about him. And it was one of the more moving funerals I've ever been at. But you talked about moments that you guys had. And what is it that you do in the midst of those to make those moments?
Well, one thing, and this is just, boy, I remember years ago, and I don't know how long ago it was, but I remember we were getting ready one morning, my wife and I, and she evidently was talking. I was standing right beside her getting ready as well. I was shaving, brushing my teeth or something. And then all of a sudden I heard her say, "Where are you?" And I said, What are you talking about? She said, "Okay, you're standing right here, but you're not here." And one of the curses in my brain is when I wake up in the morning, kind of the agenda of the day just starts making a list, tick, 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 tick. And so sometimes I get there long before I've left the house. And that moment in that conversation made me stop and think, I need to be present where I am, not distracted. Right. Just pay attention. And I think part of it is, we run ahead of ourselves so often because there's so many demands when you're trying to lead or trying to serve, and you want to do it well and you want to touch all the bases. And it's just thinking long enough to say, wherever I am, I'm going to be present here. If I'm in a meeting with staff, I'm going to be present. If I'm talking to my wife, I'm going to be present. If I'm going to be praying, I'm going to be present. Like in my prayer time, one of the things I have to do, I pray out loud to keep me present. So I'm paying attention to my conversation with God in the middle of all that.
To you, is it a challenge? Because I have a challenge with this, because you do want to respond to people. You want to be, available and ready. man, my phone can be one of the biggest enemies to this, as far as I just feel like I got to respond to every email or text within 30 seconds of receiving it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's
I do
one.
too. Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, one of the things, to be honest, has been a help to me is the discipline of exercise. Because like if I go for a run or go for a walk, or if I'm riding my bike and I just turn everything off, don't have my phone with me, don't have
Yeah.
my computer with me, no radio, television, none of that's on. It's just quiet. And
Yeah.
so getting some physical exercise does good for your soul and your body. But then also I'm just thinking about what God's doing, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a good time to take a break,
Yeah, but in fairness, though, Tim, most pastors don't run 20 miles, and so
That's true. But you can get a lot of thinking and reflecting done in 20 miles.
You're not connecting with your physical. For most of us who walk a mile, it's a little more challenging.
Well, just taking a walk, though. Seriously, just taking a walk is good.
No, it is. I know. I appreciate you coming down to our level there. But hey, what would you encourage most pastors, though, about the process of lingering? What's the best way for them to do that in their own journey?
Well, I think maybe it sounds really simple, but go back to think about it, not a sprint, but an endurance kind of, it doesn't even have to be a race, just any kind of a journey. Along the way, even if you're taking your family and you're driving from Atlanta to California, I mean, you got to take some breaks or everybody's going to die in the car, you know? And those breaks are critically important. So I think all along the way in our life, like work, son, take a break, go take a walk around the building, think about what God's doing, how God's blessed you, the gift of a new day, pray for your family, those things. I think that may be the simplest and best way just to linger over those moments and think about them is work hard, take a break in the day, work hard, take a break, work hard, take a break, and think about it. And let it just sink into your soul.
Man, that's wise counsel. Tim, thank you for sharing that. And listen, thank you for modeling that for pastors, because this is one thing, guys. I mean, he does what he's saying. And man, I'm grateful for that. And may we all get to where we can run 15, 20 miles, swim, and bike.
You're so funny.
Thanks so much for listening today, and look forward to it.
Thanks for joining us for Quick Takes with Kevin. Each week, Kevin will visit with pastors and leaders as they talk about the challenges they face and the lessons they've learned in balancing faith, family, and ministry. Thank you for being with us.